Interstate. So we're just getting off the Interstate 93 at the Orleans exit. We are going on a journey. Vermont Reindeer Farm. This should be really cool. From what I understand, it's the only reindeer farm in Vermont. I wonder if they'll take off. I wonder if they'll fly. You think they will?
I think they will.
They also offer a reindeer school. We are definitely somewhere. Wow.
It takes a while to get to the North Pole.
We don't have cell reception, so we're kind of winging it at this point. Can't really stop in at a grocery store and ask directions or a gas station. Oh yeah.
I used to live down there too.
Yeah.
Nice little gift shop in here. We're heading back out to check out the deer. Not that one. Oh dear. All right, let's go outside.
So this farm, well, this land has been in the Burrow family for over 100 years, passed down from generation to generation. So his mother still lives over across the way, right over there. She's 86?
Yep.
She just turned 86 years old, and she loves it that we're here using the land instead of just sitting here doing nothing. So we built our house 15, 16 years ago. We logged our, I say we, I'm out there cutting the trees, you know. So we logged our land, had the trees milled, built our house, and built the barn. And then I got the idea that we should get some reindeer here. I was reading this Country Woman magazine, and on the front cover was this blonde lady with a red coat standing there next to her reindeer. And I was like, John, oh my gosh, that would be like so cool. Let's get some reindeer. And he's very good and likes to.
Next thing I know, we're in Gatlinburg, Tennessee at the National Reindeer Convention.
And we got some reindeer. So we've had reindeer here for 13 years. So, and we have the only reindeer in the state of Vermont, which is kind of cool. And no one else has brought them in since we have. We are under a lot of rules and regulations and this and that, but we follow everything to the T so we can do what we're going to do. So we like to teach about reindeer, not just say, come and look at the pretty reindeer. So let's talk about this guy first. This is Walter. Isn't he cute? Look at how he's all iced up today. So Walter came to live here this summer. So he's kind of fun to have your picture taken with Walter. Can you get little antlers?
Maybe.
So Prancer came to live here, like I said, 13 years ago. We had this grand scheme that we'd have a male and a female, we'd have babies. That didn't really work out. Prancer is still here. So when a baby reindeer is born, I think they're right in order. When a baby reindeer is born, they start growing antlers. All reindeer have antlers, the males and the females. So these are Prancer's little baby antlers. She came to live here when she was 3 months old, and she had already grown her antlers. This is what a summer reindeer looks like with that velvet on there. Their antlers at this point are soft inside there. That velvet is very thick, full of that blood and nutrients, and they're very sensitive at this point. They don't touch their antlers to anything when they're in the velvet, because if they do, it would pop a hole in it and they would bleed, and they would bleed a lot. So they are spatially aware where those antlers are at all times. So all summer they grow those antlers.
And they're hot.
We did have. There.
What do you need?
This one. So a couple summers ago, Dasher had something wrong with her foot, and the vet was cleaning her hoof out, and all of a sudden there was blood squirting everywhere. And I was like, Earl, did you cut yourself? He's like, no, not me. It was actually Dasher's antler. And so she had her velvet on, and this is the scar of what happened after that little tiny slit in there. Wow. It affected that antler growing. So you can see how much that velvet really affects their antler growth. So all summer, their antlers are going to grow and grow and grow. And at the end of the summer, the tips start turning white, and we can see that there's no more blood flow through it. And then they start shedding the velvet. And they'll work. I usually call up John, and he comes home from the dairy farm, cuts down a tree. They'll work all day on that tree trying to get that velvet off because it's hanging in their face.
It's really fun. They're real aggressive.
And it
They beat
attracts
that tree up and
flies.
beat it up, have it up in the air and flopping around. It's fun. It's real fun to watch for a day. They're so aggressive with it.
By the end of the day, most of that velvet will be off. And if it's not off, then we're going to pull it off because it attracts flies, and we don't want to get a fly strike. So it's a very cool time of year to see all this happening. It's usually first thing in the morning when I go out to do chores. You'll see that happening. So John will cut down a tree. Yep. Yep. So then they have their hard antlers all winter. Then they can pull Santa's sleigh. They cannot pull Santa's sleigh in those soft. Isn't it right there? No, you have to dig in there and find it. It might be in that envelope. So then they'll have these hard antlers all winter, and then in the spring their antlers fall off.
Nope.
So this is what you're gonna see today is them with their hard antlers. So it only takes 3 or 4 months to grow their antlers, whether they're this big or this big. You know, so you think about that growing in 3 or 4 months. It's crazy how fast it's
Wow.
growing. And when he shed his velvet off there, he would shed so much velvet. So then they'll have their hard antlers, and they'll have these all winter, and in the spring they fall off. It's just like when a child loses a tooth.
They're
you
pretty
can
strong,
see
aren't
that.
they?
Oh, they're crazy.
You'd think they'd break easy.
Yeah, they're crazy how strong they are.
See how it looks when it comes off? It just kind of works its way
Every year,
off.
Yeah. Males will drop theirs in December or January. The girls will keep theirs in March.
And the velvet, I mean, this is just a question, I mean,
Yeah.
moose have the same
Yes.
process basically.
It is.
Yes,
Yeah.
it is.
The
White-tailed
velvet and
deer,
everything,
sure.
yeah.
Yep, yep.
Anything with horns.
Yeah.
I mean antlers.
Antlers,
Sorry.
yeah.
Yeah.
So these are made out of the same material as your bone.
Yeah.
When I come up with some really cool project to use them for, John has to actually pre-drill a hole into them. You can't just screw them up.
They drill
Yeah.
hard.
They
They're
drill
really
really
hard.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, these practically burn. You need a good bit. You burn your way through. They're really tough.
So their antlers are actually their fingerprints. They are not just randomly growing. If you look at Prancer's little baby antler, she had that little teeny tiny nub that first year. So when that one fell off, 2 weeks later, this one started to grow. So this is her 1-year-old antler, her 2-year-old antler, up through her life. We have donated a couple to Make-A-Wish kids. There was a music video that was filmed here, so she got the antlers that year, but we tend to not sell the antlers because we don't want people letting their dogs chew them.
Yeah.
That's really bothers me. So we keep them, hang them up, do things. So this is Prancer's throughout her life. So if you look at those, she has the exact same growth pattern every single year. Always the same exact, as does Dasher. This is Cupid's. So we can pick up their antlers and know who they are because we know their growth pattern. So they're not just randomly growing. So you think about that. There's nothing there for 2 weeks. They grow back exactly the same growth pattern.
The points might vary.
Yeah.
It might be a different but the shape is going to be the same, always the same.
So their antlers are actually their fingerprints. So it's a very cool process to see all of that. Yeah. Yeah. So they grow a very thick winter coat. This is not off one of our reindeer. This came from Mongolia. So every year we have some very concerned little old lady that says, I think your reindeer's cold. So now we're like, she's not cold. So feel this. If you dig your fingers right in, you feel how thick that is. There are 12,000 hairs per square inch.
Wow.
It is like so thick, so many layers of the fur in there. So a reindeer is never ever cold.
You gotta dig right in.
You want to touch it? When they do start shedding, they don't like to be brushed. So we take them for walks. In one hand, hold the touch the fur. We hold the halter, and the other hand, you're pulling out handfuls of fur.
He's like, ooh, I like that. Can I have that coat?
So they're never cold. They have fur on their noses right down to their hooves. They're never cold. Winter cannot get cold enough here in Vermont. So that's kind of going to be it for the reindeer. And then we're going to go in there and see them. So that red barn over there is mostly full of our rescue animals that we've taken in. So we always say that the reindeer bring people here to help feed those animals over there. Yeah. So that's why they're there. We have some fallow deer over here. So we had a little baby. The state vet called me 4 years ago at school and said, we have a little deer. Can you take her? She's been orphaned. And I was like, is it a reindeer? They're like, no, Pauline, you'd know if it was a reindeer. I'm like, okay. So she was a little Sika deer. Do you have her pictures ready? Sure. So she was a little Sika deer. So I headed out so I called John. He's like, oh my gosh. So I head down to St. John's Way. I'm waiting in the Dunkin' Donuts parking lot for, I'm expecting a truck and a trailer for this little deer. He kept calling it a fawn. I'm sitting near this black truck. I'm sitting there. Come on. Finally, the man gets out of the truck and he has a little cat carrier. And I was like, deer? I'm like, oh my God, she was so tiny.
Wow.
So this is how tiny she was. So this is.
I have a picture of you feeding her. Yeah.
So you can just follow right on. So this is how tiny she was. This is Jack feeding her her bottle.
That
She
much
was-
better.
That's right. You did.
She's getting bigger throughout the winter.
So she lived in our house
Boys.
for 6 months. Yeah,
Tell your little dog.
yeah. So she lived with Bailey and Norman, and they took care of her and became her dads, and they just took care of
The
her.
first time we get in there,
Yeah, like we had her, like John built this big 6-foot dog kennel for her to be in, and somehow we were out doing chores, and because we didn't have the animals together, because we didn't know what the dogs would do, and I go to the door and I'm like, oh my gosh, John, they're together. They're laying here near the stove all together. So we're like, all right, so we just left it open.
so it's supposed to be a couple weeks.
Yeah, the vet's like, keep her in your house for 2 weeks and put her out in the fallow deer. She lived in her house for 6 months. So she potty trained herself.
Wow.
The dog, she still drinks like a dog. She laps her water. So it was a very special time to have her with us. We were watching some videos of her the other day.
That's amazing.
And the dogs just loved her and just took care of her. And it took about a month to transition her to live out with the fallow deer. So we built a new pen and got a little baby fallow deer be with her, Lucy, and had to transition her out. So she's 4 years old now, and she's still very sweet. Sometimes she's a little persnickety and won't come over when other people live, but she loves graham crackers, so we're going to feed her some graham crackers. And of course the fallow deer love graham crackers. And then last fall, we got this man called us, and he had a little fallow male and a little baby. I was like, oh my gosh, we had Maple Annie. We can do this again to be so cute. So we got him. Oh, he was cute until this summer when he grew antlers. And now he's very naughty. So he's named after John's father and brother. His name is Davy. Well, his name was David. We called him Davy. Now we call him David because he's so naughty. Do we even have him blocked in yet?
We don't.
We got to block him in.
You think so?
Yes.
Okay.
So we're gonna meet David too. He loves graham crackers, and he's just very naughty. Oh, he's so naughty with those antlers.
He is.
So it's because he's in rut season.
Yeah.
He's kind of coming out of that.
He's a male.
But yes, he's a male.
He thinks he's like 350 pounds and just bad animal.
Maple Annie's not like that.
No,
Just saying.
no. So he changed the whole environment.
He did.
So we're not gonna go through this again.
Aiden, what do you think?
They are.
Got a reindeer for $2,000. So she's had the cheap. They're only 6,000 and 2,000 FedEx it down. So it's only 8,000 for a baby, which is better than.
You're hungry?
Where are the graham crackers, huh? Yeah, you got nothing. I don't want anything to do with you.
So here comes Maple Annie. She's the last one coming in. Hey, baby
Maple
girl.
Annie.
You're fluffy. You're so fluffy.
So they do not have teeth on the top.
That's a
All you
Sika
gotta do is just
deer.
hold it like this.
They took care of it in their house for 6 months from a little baby.
Okay, let me add you. I don't need to feed you girls. Who wants to feed them some?
I don't have any.
Come here, baby girl.
Brandon, it's not a dog.
Come here. So this is Maple Annie. She is my baby, I'll tell you.
Oh, wait. I'm sure the gate got locked, so just be aware of that.
I got some.
Hi. Who are you? Cute. You want some of this? Am I live?
Yep. Darn, I think I missed it because I was looking the other way.
You want some?
Don't come to it.
Why does it keep running away?
Look, he knows.
You want some?
Don't come to it.
Why does it keep running away? We need some more over here.
So they're going to bring a reindeer out. And we're going to get to pet it. Nice setup. Very nice folks. Reindeer up close and personal. Look at that. Wow.
Can you put your pretty on?
So they say the reindeer, their feet click when they walk, and that's where the saying came from, up on the housetop. Click, click, click.
Yeah.
It's a very distinct sound if you can hear it up close. That's pretty cool. Yep. So Prancer, 14 years old. What are those on the back of his feet called? Dew claws. Yeah. What a nice old.
If you want to take her right out on lead and circle right back.
Okay.
Okay, give her a little more roll for like that.
Hang on.
I got it. There we go.
There we go. Let's try this again. So Prancer, meet Lauren. Yeah, that's Lauren. That's right. Look at you. 13, 14 years old. Wow. Oh, look at that. Whoa.
Practicing for her takeoff.
If she goes airborne, you hold on.
I will. I think we're good. Yep. Good.
Took a whole bunch of pictures.
Thanks. Thank you. Nice setup. Very nice folks. Reindeer up close and personal.